It's time for the Ella Johnson Show. Thanks for tuning in to the Ella Johnson Show, where there are two sides to every story. Enjoy the broadcast. Stay tuned. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ella Johnson Show. I am so excited to be here tonight for this broadcast. I have my friend here with me. I want to welcome you for watching to the show tonight. If you're watching from Facebook, do me a favor and share the broadcast, okay? This is not a broadcast you want to keep to yourself. We're going to learn a lot tonight, all right? If you're watching from YouTube and LinkedIn and all of those channels, please do me a favor and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it, okay? All right, guys. Are you guys excited? Are you excited, Kim?
I am excited. I'm excited.
I know you're excited. You're always excited.
You have a very energetic audience, and they pretty savvy. So I'm excited to talk to them.
Oh, okay. Well, I heard that. Well, listen, on tonight's broadcast, I thought it was time that we have that discussion on financial stability and how the decisions that we make today will impact our tomorrow. Let's talk about what it is that we're doing that keeps us poor, how and why we should invest our money, and why in the world does President Trump want to introduce a 50-year mortgage, and much more. I couldn't think of a better person to have this conversation with besides my brother, my friend, whose life, his story reflects a journey of faith, discipline, and vision. This show tonight is about taking control of our financial futures. Are you guys excited about all that? Yes. Kim.
Let's do it, Ella.
Kim, now you told me before the broadcast that God put something in your heart. So I would like for us to do that now before I formally introduce you to our audience.
Yeah, Ella, I like to take everything serious here. When we talk about people's finances, that's a very touchy subject for a lot of people. So the Lord, laid upon my heart that we should probably pray before we kick this off.
Okay.
So let's do it now, if you don't mind.
Okay, no problem.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for my friend Ella. Thank you for her platform that she has, where she is informing our people and trying her best to transform them to a better them for the rest of their lives. I ask, Lord, that you would bless us to provide something that would touch somebody out there today, and that they may benefit and they may find financial freedom through this conversation, so that the words of our hearts, our mouth, and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen.
Amen. Now, before I introduce you, Kim, I want everybody to know this is my friend, guys. Listen, in life, if you can say someone is your friend and really mean it, that's a blessing. Even if it's just one or two. I grew up with this man here. We went to the same church. We were in the same cherubim choir in Bethel Baptist Church, junior choir. Kim, you remember that time we had to go sing an A&B selection and I had on a hat and everybody said we were Prince and the Rebel?
Hey, listen, I also remember you loving that show Fame, and we had to be the Fame crew. You did all the choreography, had us out there acting a fool on Miss Virginia's porch, but we thought we were something special.
And what's sad is Brian reminds me, because that's the day I broke his nose. Every time he sees me, Derek. Derek is the one. It was Derek nose I broke.
Ugly jelly bean shoes you used to wear.
Oh, it takes Kelvin to talk about my jelly bean shoes. Kelvin said, "Ella, no, They wanted to throw them away because y'all know I didn't have a one pair, right?"
Hey, listen, Ella, we cannot go on here and tell all that history. We have too many stories to tell. And folks could probably have a bad impression of us because we have got
we have done. But listen, that's what makes this show And our experience is so good, guys, because we have some real stories, real experiences. But those experiences are what made us who we are today. You are doing what you're doing because of something that God put in your heart as a child. We're going to hear about that. But I want to formally introduce my friend, guys, because I can't just let him come on the show and not put respect on what he's done. Kim is the owner and CEO of Grace Property Management LLC and LABA Real Estate LLC. His portfolio spans across multiple Alabama markets, Monroeville, Birmingham, and Huntsville. Now, I know you've heard of his signature Ola's Garden development in Monroeville. I know you've heard about it. This was a project done by design to turn bad communities into great communities. Kim is a proud graduate of Alabama A&M, where he earned a degree in computer science.
Go Bulldogs.
He's a technology executive, real estate investor, and wealth building strategist. He is an IBM account tech leader. Beyond all of his success, he is a proud and devoted family man, community leader, and a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Welcome to the Ella Johnson Show, my friend. Yay!
Glad to be here. Thanks for the invitation, Ella. Great conversation.
All right, y'all.
A great topic.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I want you guys to know that I need all of the questions right here. As you ask your questions, they're going to come on the screen like this. So I want to make sure that if you have any questions for Kim, we have a lot of information to cover tonight. So I want to jump right in. Kim, I want you to first of all tell us a little bit about your professional background. Tell everybody what that looks like.
Sure, I definitely do that. So I am a proud graduate of Monroe County High School, class president, 1989. After high school, I ended up at Alabama A&M University, not really knowing what I wanted to major in. When I first went there, I thought I was going to do medical school. So started in biology and chemistry. And I made my first C, and I was on scholarship, and I thought, uh-oh, this ain't gonna work. So I might need to look for something else. But in our biology classes, we were using Mac computers. And I got very, very interested in the technology. A lot of the programs were built by the students. I got a chance to meet some of those guys when they were doing some troubleshooting. And I thought, you know what? I could do this computer science stuff. Let me go over and see what it would take to change my major and actually start studying over there. So went over there and became really good friends with the professors in the computer science department. They helped me find co-ops and programs outside of school to practice what I was learning. And that became the very foundation that built the, I guess, platform that I'm on today. That those co-op programs in the summer times and those internships sort of put me ahead of the other students that were studying with me. So I became like the lab professor. I was helping people write their programs because it came easy to me because I was doing that in the summer times. Right out of college, I got a job back in Monroeville. Can you believe it? And that's how me and Cheryl hooked up. I went back to Monroeville working at Vanity Fair, and I was one of the first Black programmers at Vanity Fair. I was.
Oh, I'm so sure. I'm so sure. What?
At Vanity Fair. So I went in and I took over. I was the lead online developer, and I did a lot of the programs that did the cuts at the dye house. So I used to build those programs, go out and configure the cutting machines to cut out these, I think they called them die cuts or whatever they called them. I forget. Yeah. But I used to do that. Then the 1996 Olympic hit Atlanta. And I thought, I want to move to Atlanta. I had a lot of college friends that were living in Atlanta. At the same time, Vanity Fair was moving portions of their corporate office to Georgia. And I signed up for it. They didn't choose me. So I got my feelings hurt. And so I started applying for jobs in Atlanta. And I took a job with IBM. And I went in with their Y2K program. And my career went from there. So, I want to sort of bridge this into where we're going with this topic tonight. It's like, how did you get here, right? So I got this great job at IBM. They put me in a leadership role, this 20-something-year-old, working with these fantastic people. And I traveled all over the country doing Y2K stuff. So I ended up in Washington, D.C. on a team doing the D.C. government's Y2K, getting them ready for Y2K. And buddy, we were balling out of control. We had lots of money. We were making good money. We were partying everywhere. We were buying all these clothes and the fancy shoes. We were doing all of the things above board, right? And just living large.
Right.
And there was a young man working with me. He became one of my really good friends. He's really good family friend with us now. His name is Charles Crittenden. He pulled me aside one day. He says, we need to do lunch. And I'm like, what the world, Charles want to do lunch with just me? Because we used to all go out to lunch together, right?
Right.
And he says, Kim, you are special. And I'm like, I'm special. I said, what? I said, what that mean, Charles? He said, you look what you're doing, right? You're getting these leadership roles. You got these people that are a lot older than you, and you are like leading them, right? And then they respect what you're saying. You're making all this good money, right? Yeah. He says, but you're not thinking about your financial future. He says, you're just throwing money away. And he's like, I see you're using credit cards, you're spending cash. And he's like, you're not making good choices. And he says, I got something for you. He says, I want you to read this book. He says, I want you to read every single page and do every single exercise. And when you finish this book, you and I need to have a dialogue. He gave me this book. You see this book?
9 Steps to Financial Freedom.
Financial Freedom by Susie Orman, right? This book changed my whole life. So, when you first go through this book, she talks about first, get your life in order, right? What happens if you get hit by a bus? Like what happens to your stuff, right? So she teaches you about, what a trust is, what a will is, and why they're important, right? And then she talks about power of attorney, right? You get hit by a bus or you die and you leave this stuff. So you need a power of attorney. So, and all these things, once you read the book, you have to do the exercises. So I had to get all these things in order, right? And then she talks about debt. And the whole book is about how to be financially responsible. Ella, I'm making good money. My credit was screwed up because I went through college with all these credit cards. I never forget when I came out of college, I couldn't even buy my first car. And I had to get my mom this cosign for my car because I had screwed up my credit. I had no student loan. I had no, none of that. I was just spending.
Wilding out. Just wilding out.
Because we had access to funds and I didn't grow up with a lot of money. I just started spending money, just wasting money, like something crazy, right? Thank God Chuck put this book in my hands. So I read this book. I did every exercise. When we met, he thought he was going to have to coach me to do the exercises. I'm like, no, Chuck. I'm way ahead of you. I've done every single exercise. I've set up my stock account. I know how to set up my bank account to wire the money in there. I learned everything about dollar cost averaging. I know what that means. I'm doing it. And from that day forward, I must have been 26 or 27 at the time when he saved my life financially. And I just started setting money aside. I won't say I was wealthy, but I was doing the things that make you wealthy at that time, right? Just putting money aside, set up my 401k, max it out, then put some in the stock market, buying the discounted IBM stock because they gave us discounted IBM stock. I was taking full advantage of all that, right? So I did all those things, and that sort of got me into a good path. It taught me to respect money. And listen, let me tell you something. Because my problem, I don't know about many people's problem, I had problem having money in the bank. Because if you have money in the bank, I had to go buy something. You know what I'm saying?
You see it in there. Like, I'm like, what is that saying?
To see it in
burning in your pocket. Money just burning in your pocket. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first lesson I had to learn was how to deal with myself. Like, it's okay to have money in the bank, and it's okay not to spend it. Right. Okay. So, that was something that was very impactful for me. So I did those things and I did it for a very long time. Right. So I share that to say, I have not always been financially responsible, right? And whoever's out there listening to me, whatever young people that are listening to me, right? It doesn't matter what you have done in your past, right?
Amen.
You can stop. You can go and pick up this book. See this book, Susie Orman? It's still printed today. This is a copy that I have bought for my daughter. I'm going to write a message in the front of this book for her to say, this is how you save your financial life, right? If you follow these steps in this book, you won't have problems. And hopefully she will listen to me, and she won't act like me when she goes off to college next year. She will make better choices, right, Ella? So I
Hold
just
that
want
up
to share
again.
this.
Hold that up again. I want everybody to take a look at this. This is what you should put in Christmas stockings this year. I know I'm definitely going to get one.
Yes,
I'm
everybody should
definitely
have
going
one.
to. Yes.
Because this is a workbook, right? Not only is she
Yeah.
giving you lessons, I mean, you got to, at the end of each chapter, there's work to do, and you can't go to the next chapter until you finish the work. Great book. Saved my life.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I think we should all invest in it.
Right.
So, Kim, so tell me, you started investing.
Yes.
What made you get into that? What happened to you? Something you saw, seed was planted that made you want to start investing. What was that?
One, Charles scared the hell out of me.
Right?
It told me I wasn't gonna have anything, and I was, living reckless. And then just so that's what started, right? Thank God for Chuck. I give him all the credit.
Wow.
I've had a lot of, people in my life, mentors, what have you. Chuck saw the writing on the wall. I guess he saw himself in me, because he probably was the same. Right?
Yeah.
And the reason why I start investing is because of Susie Orman, right? I have followed her since I was 27 years old, right? So now Susie is retired. She used to have those shows that came on late at night, and she was all of her must-have documents. She was doing all this stuff, but she was just spitting out the game, right? If you listen to what she said, you couldn't have gone wrong, right? So now she has a platform, the Susie Orman show for women and anyone who's smart enough to listen, right? So that's a podcast, right? So I got so much I want to share. It's just I'm losing my thought, but I just want to say she has a podcast, and she's spitting knowledge on that podcast. And she has two shows, one on Tuesday night, and it's all about current things. Here's what's happening today that could could impact what you're doing with your money. Here are things that are risky and you should avoid. She's giving you that advice, and she's giving it to you for free. And guess what Susie also shares? She's a financial advisor. That's how her career started. She doesn't trust financial advisors, right? She don't trust you to see a financial advisor unless you understand the concepts of financial advising, all of the things, right? What is a stock? What is a mutual fund?
That makes sense.
You need to have some knowledge before you go sit down in front of somebody to turn your money over to them, and they could either wreck your life or they could make you, right? But it has to be a partnership if you ever going to hire a financial advisor. You need to know the game before you sit down with somebody who knows the game better than you, and you guys partner and have a successful path for yourself, right? So that's one of the things she advises. And I recommend anyone to, if you have a iPhone or whatever phone you have, download a podcast app, download or become a member of Susie Orman's podcast. It's free. So that is free financial advice. What better could you ask for, right? And then do what she tells you to do, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I started. And I'm an active investor today. I still invest in the stock market. And then, so how did I get into real estate? You want to know about that, Ella? Maybe I should.
Yes, I do want to know. Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So
how did you get into real estate? And then you started in Monroeville. Where did all that come from?
Well, I didn't really start in Monroeville, but I ended up in Monroeville. So
yeah.
So during COVID, I got really ill, right?
I remember.
Right?
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there going, I've done some things, if I were to die with this crap, I will have something to leave to my family, right? But then I'm like, I got so much more, right, to do. I mean, I had just started studying I was following these guys. What was the name of the darn show? Now, Bigger Pockets. I had just started watching this show called The Bigger Pockets. And The Bigger Pockets is all about real estate, how to get into real estate, what to do, how to get in, how to invest, how to get the loan. They teach you everything about how to get into the real estate game, right? So I'm like, Lord, if I can get out of this bed, I am going to go and do something to help other people, right? Provide housing, because there's such a housing shortage in America. I wanted to be able to make an impact with the housing shortage, right? So I found a turnkey vendor in Birmingham, Alabama, that actually was a more passive type of an investment. So let's talk about passive and active, because I may be using terms that people may not be familiar with. So when you're a passive investor, people like to invest in things like turnkey. So let's explain turnkey. Turnkey is a company that finds really bad properties. They take their money and they fix it up, right? And then they go out and find investors and say, hey, look, I fixed up this house. I know you don't have time to go and fix up a house and put a property management around it and do all the things to manage a property. So I have that for you, the whole package, right? So you go over, give them 20% of the value of the house. You buy that house, and then they take it and manage it. So they collect the rent and they just deposit, what's left over from the rent into your account, right? So that's turnkey. That's an example of a passive type of real estate transaction. Another type of real estate transaction that is more passive is syndications. So what is a syndication, right? A syndication basically is a bunch of investors that are coming together, pooling their money together to go do something big, like buy a skyrise in New York, or build a huge apartment complex, 150 or whatever type of properties, right? So I did one of those. So I tapped into some funds and, joined a syndication, and it was the most successful thing I could ever have done. I met Brandon Turner, Open Door Capital. He had this syndication. I qualified to be a member of it. So I joined that, and this thing just started producing, returns. And I was very, very impressed with the whole syndication thing. But I had never done a project of my own, right? So Mother's Day weekend, 2022, my mother had passed away in 2019. Cheryl and I was driving from the floral shop, headed to the church to put some flowers on the grave. And we went down Bigger Street, right? And we saw these apartments. At the time, they were Club View. And I never forget, I looked over there and I'm like, God, them the ugliest darn apartments I ever seen in my life. Why don't they tear them down? And Cheryl looked at me and said, well, you've been watching that darn show for like 3 weeks, and it's telling you to find properties just like that one. And
I love you, Cheryl.
And my foot, I hit the brake so hard that she slammed forward. Me and her both went back. I put that car in reverse. I backed up. It was a telephone number that it happened to be for sale, but people were living there. And I'm like, wow, people are living here. And so I took the number. It took me a couple of days to build up nerve to call. I really don't know what to do, right? I really don't know what to do. So I called, and I got this beautiful soft voice on the other end of the call. And she said to me, listen to this. Listen to God. She says, I knew you were going to call me.
Oh.
And I said, what? She said, Kim, this is Vera. I grew up with Vera, right? And she said, Vera Pate, but she was Vera Spencer. She said, this Vera Spencer, boy. And I said, oh. She says, the Lord put in my vision that you were going to call me and you're going to do something with this place. I swear. If you ever see Vera, ask her. She'll tell you. So I'm like, okay, Vera, I want to buy this place, right? But I've never done something like this on my own. And I says, if you would bear with me, I will figure out how to give you what you need for this place. And I want to start, this renovation project, right? I said, so let's come up to terms. So we came to terms on the property, and thank God for my cousin Sheila. I had never bought anything like this, so I called my cousin Sheila, who was a real estate agent, and I'm like, okay, I got to buy this thing. So can you help me do this whole transaction? And she said, sure. So she did all the paperwork. I had to go to the banks to get the money. We did the transaction. I bought it, right? So I own this thing.
Wow.
It must have sat there for like 2 months. And I never forget when we closed on it, we went over there, right? And my cousin, she was with me. We signed the paper. She's like, don't you want to go inside? I said, no. She said, you don't even want to look inside? I said, no. She said, what? You just bought it. And she's like, I'm going over there. I said, okay, we can ride over there. So we rode over, and I never forget, we just took pictures on the outside. I never did go into neither one of them, right? And then I went back home. We went back to Georgia. We were all riding together. And I got home and I prayed and I says, Lord, give me the vision.
Yes. Yes.
Tell me what you want to do with this place, right? And whatever it is, because I was headed to see my mom at the gravesite, it has to do something with Ola Mae, right? So that was what was in my spirit. And I went to sleep that night, and he showed me this beautiful garden, right? And then he showed me this beautiful complex, and it was all black and white. And I'm like, that's it. He showed it to me. He gave me exactly what I was looking for. So I did just that. And then, Monroe, small town. I don't know anybody around there. I started calling around. And people just giving me names of contractors. It's very hard to find contractors in Monroe. Very.
There's a business idea for somebody. Just saying.
It's very, very hard. But I had like 6 contractors to interview. We all walked it.
Right.
And I got prices from way out through yin yang to some really low. And I chose the one in the middle. And that was Mr. Allen, right? From Frisco, Allen Lee. I think people Allen came over, and he just grounded me, right? Because I come over there with this big head and big idea. He said, boy, you ain't gonna be living here. All right. So don't put that much money in these places. We're gonna make them nice. We're gonna give people a nice place to live. We're gonna put new air conditioners in here. So just trust me, we're gonna make them really, really nice. So I trusted Alan. We did that first building. That's what we started off. Well, and then, once we did the first building, I couldn't rent the darn thing. I'm like, oh man. And the bank had, given me the money under the pretense that I was going to finish them, rent them before I go to the next one, right? Yeah. So I finished it, and I'm like, oh man, put it out there for rent, and I had to rent it at a certain price, right? Else it didn't make sense to do the
absolutely.
Right? So I put it out there for rent. Nobody was interested because the whole rest of the complex just looked a mess. So I thought, okay, so let me start working on that flower thing, those garden things, like they said.
Yeah.
So we did a little bit of landscaping, tried to start making it look nice, just sort of building the vision one at a time, right? Mm-hmm. And still couldn't rent it. And I thought, okay, how about we turn the darn thing into Airbnb, and I'll rent it to another company that I had to start. So I started another company, and I rented it to that company. That company went in and decorated it. My cousin Sherry came from Atlanta. She
did a great job. Great job.
Thing out, buddy. Yeah, she ain't cheap, but she laid that thing out. And we listed it on Airbnb, and from that day forward, it's been renting. And then we finished the next building, and before we could finish it, we had renters. Cheryl wanted to do another Airbnb in there. She said, we got to do one more Airbnb because because these are renting so fast, we need to have at least one more. I'm like, well, I don't want all of them to be Airbnbs. I want to be able to provide some housing for the locals. Right?
But you know what, Kim? You know what I take from that story is how you didn't rely on what you've heard or seen. You went to God. So that has become a thing for you. You go to God, just like even with the show, even with educating people.
That's who we are, Ella.
That's
That's
right.
what we were raised to be, right?
That's right.
Everything we
Absolutely.
do, everything we do in our household, we pray about it, right? We trust in the Lord with all our hearts and lean not to our own understanding in all thy ways, right? That's that's
Yeah.
that's what we do, right?
That's
My
real.
mom
That's real.
drilled that into us. So that's who I am, right? So that's why I honored that one for her. But long story short, let me finish telling you about it because then the story gets better. So after
Okay.
I did the first 3 buildings, I had run out of my little pot of money.
Uh-oh.
So I needed some more money. So these class teaches you the stuff that I've been studying on Bigger Pockets was teaching you how to, reach out to partners, try to find some investors. So I'm like, okay, I ain't never done this before, but I'm gonna just start calling around. So I thought, okay, who in Monroe got some money? So I went to Bobby Jones, right? I'm like, Bobby, hey man, I'm doing this thing. You see me doing a nice job. Do you want to invest? He's like, no, I have no interest. I got tons of properties around here. He said, but I got a trailer park that I'm trying to get rid of. I said, now you giving me another problem. I ain't want to buy no trailer park. I need some money. He said, boy, take your calculator out. He said, I got 40 trailers at this trailer park. They pay this amount, put that in your calculator and see what they give you. And I looked at the number. I'm like, oh, crap.
Okay. Okay.
Boy,
Yeah.
trailer park sounds pretty
It's
good.
pretty good right about now, right?
So I says, he gave me a price, and I'm like, yes, I want to buy the trailer park. So I, had to go hustle up some money, bought the trailer park, and then I must have we started making a lot of investments in there. Finally got the trailer park people in to start paying because a lot of those guys were not paying, And Bobby was so
Uh-oh.
kind. I don't think he really bothered them, for the money. But look, I need the money because I'm
Oh,
brand
I know
new.
that's right.
I ain't sitting
Because I
like
know if you
Bobby.
had put me on it, I would have
Yeah.
definitely got your money for you.
So
Yeah.
I'm sitting there like, nah, I put this number in this calculator,
Like,
and
this
then
what I want.
I gotta have
This
this.
right, this right here. That's right.
So we
Yes.
finally, I had good tenants. I had built great rapport with the trailer park owner. My
That's good.
brother was right up the street. He was the manager because he was right there. He was very
Yeah.
responsible. They had
Yeah.
questions. They would go up and just it was a family
Yeah.
thing, and it was just it was nobody but God that made it work out the way that it did, right? So
Wow.
while I'm over at the apartments one day, we were over there doing some work trying to finish up that big long blue building, right? Bobby
Uh-huh.
pulls up and he runs he says, Kim, I need to talk to you. I'm like, what? You need to talk to me about? He's like, hey, I got some good news. Somebody want to buy the trailer park. I'm like, what? I said, no, I ain't interested in selling the trailer park. He said, listen, he's from New York and he's offering a good price. You should probably sell the trailer park. So I'm like, okay, I don't. And then I go back to Bigger Pockets. I'm doing the numbers, right? And I'm like, based upon what I'm doing, this what the value, and I pray about it. So I like that. Ain't nobody in their right mind gonna give me what the value of it is because I didn't learn how to calculate it now, right? And these are tools that I want to one day do a class and teach other
Absolutely.
people who are
Yes.
interested in becoming a real estate investor. I want to teach you how to quantify the value of a property, right? Because a lot of people they dump this stuff and they don't realize that it's more valuable, than they actually charge for it. So I have a formula. I know how to calculate it to get a real value. Long story short, I calculated it and said, no way. This dude is not going to give me what it takes for me to sell it. So I pick up the phone and call the dude like Bobby asked me to do. The
Right.
dude says, I'm not taking no for an answer. I buy trailer parks all over the country. I want to buy it for this price. I said, sold.
Really?
He offered me
Wow.
25% more than what I calculated it, right? I'm
What?
like, 25% more. I'm like,
Wow.
what the heck? This dude really wants this trailer park, and I need to give it to him as soon as possible. So, so that's how my real estate, business just really took off. It was the Monroe transactions, especially that trailer park, became
Yeah.
the funds that funded other things in Birmingham and Huntsville, and now I have some stuff down in Florida. I mean, we're growing. The Lord has
Oh,
just
I love it. Oh,
yeah.
that's
So
amazing.
yeah, so that's that's how
Now
that whole
before
story started with real estate.
now before the broadcast, you and I were talking about, Ella, there's a difference between being rich and being wealthy. I want you to talk about that because a lot of people think they're one and the same. but you think they're differently. So tell us, what's the difference?
Yeah. So I've been blessed to have some good mentors, right? And
Yeah.
people just sort of drop carrots and make you think, right?
Right.
When you come from humble beginnings like myself, right? Uh, we like to throw around the term rich, right? If we see somebody drive an expensive car, live in a big
Oh, he
house,
rich.
wearing all the best
Mm-hmm.
clothes, right? Can
Yep.
whatever they want with the watches and everything else, right? You know, you're rich, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but when you talk to wealthy people, they say, no, there's a big difference between rich and being wealthy. And I'm
Okay.
like, explain it to me in layman's terms, like real low. So this is my definition that I have come to agree with, right? Rich is the illusion of wealth,
Mm.
right? It's the illusion of wealth, right? So what is wealth? Wealth is a portfolio of assets that generates revenue forever and ever and ever, even when you die, right?
Mm.
So, in the example that I gave about the apartment complex, right? That's an asset, right? And as long as I'm living, I can generate revenue off of that property, right? But when I die, guess what? The revenue still make it. It just transfers now to my children,
To your
right?
children.
So
That's right.
think about a portfolio of assets. You can get lots of them, right? And what wealthy, so when you become wealthy, you have this portfolio of a bunch of things. I like to call them, the reason why I call them money trees. So when I'm talking to like the high school kids, I'm like, in your life, you should be planting money
Money
trees. Because
trees.
you know why I say that? You know how your parents used to always tell you a little, money don't grow on trees, boy.
Uh-huh.
Well, in this instance, it does, right? So if you go and invest in an asset, that asset is going to continue to produce money as long as it's being maintained. So that's my definition of wealthy. Wealthy is someone who has a portfolio of assets that continues to generate money for years and years and years to come. Even when they're dead, it keeps generating revenue, right? So that's what generational wealth is, and that's what my definition of wealthy is. So the difference, and I want to go back to rich, right? We've seen a lot of people get rich,
Yeah.
right? We've seen people win the lottery. They keep it for 5 or 6 years and then they broke. But they had millions of dollars. Some of them have hundreds of millions of dollars, right? We've
Yeah.
seen athletes go off and get these big contracts and have 50, 60 millions of dollars, but they never bought any assets. So they keep pinching off of what that contract is, and they have nothing to replenish those funds. So eventually they go broke, right? So
Mm.
if you want to ever be wealthy, you have to be
Mm.
buying assets that will continue to generate wealth, right? One of the things in a book that I read about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it teaches that concept. So one of my big idols, yeah, that's the book, Ella, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This is my idol, right? I don't like what he does politically, but that's a different story. But this guy, this whole book, everybody should read it. They should make people in the fifth, sixth grade read this book because he breaks down the difference of um, assets and liabilities. That's the only two things that rich people think about, right? I shouldn't say rich people, wealthy people, right? So, what is a liability and what is an asset? In this book, he makes it very simple. Things that put money into your pocket, right, is an asset.
Right.
Things that take money out of your pocket is a liability. And as
Right.
long as you're buying assets, you're going to continue to get wealthy. You'll get more wealthy. You have more wealth than you'll know what to do with, right? But as long as you continue to spend on liabilities, you can never generate wealth, right? Because you're not buying the things that produces wealth or produces revenue. Um, but one of the things is because he's like, I like to buy nice things. He says, but I don't buy them. Listen at this, Ella. This is the key in this book. He says, I don't tell my kids we can't afford anything because we can afford everything. We just need to buy the asset that's going to buy the thing. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Oh, say that
That,
again.
that's the
That's
key,
good.
right? So,
Yeah.
I want a new car, right? Let's say that car costs $800 a month. So I need to go and buy an asset that's going to produce at least $800 a
$800
month.
to pay for that.
So every
Yeah.
month that $800 come in, it pays for this. I never use my W-2 money to buy the things that I enjoy in life. I never use my
Ooh.
W-2 money to pay for my travel, right? My travel and my cars and whatever, my kids, whatever, I buy an asset that's going to pay for that thing. So that's how I live. And that's what the book teaches.
Wow. I wanna go into something too, because I saw something the other day on I think it was TikTok, and this guy was talking about why we stay poor, why people have a tendency to stay poor. And he listed 9 things. And I know you probably have a list as well, but I want to go through some of them. Smoking. That was one of the things they listed.
Oh,
Smoking.
when you start quantifying that, and alcohol,
Drinking is number 2.
these
Yeah.
eyelashes, these girls putting on the eyes and
Oh,
the
oh,
makeup.
oh.
I'm sorry. But listen, I see girls, they say, I got to get my hair done every week. How much that costs? I pay $300. $300? $1,200 a month?
For
Do you
hair,
know
for
what
your hair.
$1,200 a month would buy? Man, look, I have properties that I have mortgages on, and it ain't $1,200 a month.
Right.
And
That's a good point.
it's just the way that we think about money, right? And
It
then
is.
because you do things and you get into this pattern, you think that, oh, I have to have it. I have to have my hair done every week. Okay. How wealthy are you? And then they'll tell you,
Well, I'm living paycheck to
I
paycheck.
don't have the money like you. I can't go out and do the thing. I guess not. Not with $1,200 and that Range Rover you got out there in the parking lot, and then you staying in an apartment.
Ooh. Okay.
Come on. I mean,
I want to, but
you
you're
got
speaking
to
real talk.
have,
Real talk.
got to
Yeah.
have the conversation, right?
Yeah.
We want to be rich before we build wealth. We want to live the wealthy lifestyle, but we're not willing to build the wealth, right? So we're out just frivolously spending our money on these liabilities. They don't pay
Wow.
you anything, right? Until we can start thinking that I'm no longer buying liabilities. I'm going to be buying assets, and my assets has to buy the things that I need.
Right.
I mean, you can't sugarcoat it, right? You have to do it the right way.
I'm going to keep going through the list. Number 3 is coffee each day. Why do we need to eat coffee each day? I'm going to go through the entire list. Number 4, Uber Eats. Cook.
They
Okay.
made it convenient to waste your money.
Ooh, I'm telling you. Paying for bottled water. Number 6, high interest on your credit card debt. Luxury clothes.
Credit card debt in general. Because guess what credit card debt is? This is the way I like to teach it to my daughter, right? We all start with 0. Remember the number line?
Yeah.
Right? The money that you add in your bank account moves to the positive side. When you get a credit card, you move into the negative side.
To
right?
the other side, yeah.
So when you already broke, that means you passed 0 on the negative side. You're going the wrong way.
That is interesting. That is interesting how you say that.
It's just that simple, right?
No, that is very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, credit cards just get you. Look, I can say that, Ella, because that's why I told my story earlier, right? I was reckless with money. I was that person. Somebody gave me the right instruments to save myself, and I try to share that. I try to share it as much as I can, right? It's not easy. It's a commitment. Anybody can do it, but you got to be willing to change, and you got to be okay with having money. We just talked about that earlier, right? You got to be okay to open up your bank account and go, oh, I got $20,000 in there.
Yeah, let me go to sleep. So let me go see how I can invest it or whatever.
Yeah. Hold on a second. I love that. Let me see what asset I can invest in.
Yeah.
How can I grow that $20,000 into $100,000, right?
Yeah.
That is
And
done
don't spend the 20,000 and then it's gone and you don't have
that
anything to
is
show
done.
for it.
Listen,
Okay.
my friend Wendy is on here. She's good at that. Wendy, when I came to Monroeville to do that apartment complex, I met a lot of people, right? These landlords
Yeah.
start calling me, right? Like, who is this guy
Yeah.
encroaching? Not Wendy. Wendy calling like, okay, what can we do together? They're like, what can we buy together?
That's smart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's smart.
She was the type of energy I needed, right? Wendy, I
Yeah.
tell Wendy's business, but Wendy is a good friend. I met her, through investing in Monroeville. She's doing big things, and I'm very impressed with her. So I'm glad to see she's on the show tonight. She's
I
one of
am
the
too,
listeners.
Wendy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Wendy.
Thanks for
We'll
tuning
have
in,
you.
Wendy.
We'll have you back and come on the show one day as well.
Yeah, you got
And number
to
8
get
and
Wendy on
9.
the show.
Yeah, 8. She can come on tonight if she wants. I'm telling you. If you just want to come on, I got you. Just say yes. I'll send you the link. But 8 and 9, new phone each year, and 9, gambling. And the reason I went through this list, because I know that everybody's watching this and they're just like, ooh, yeah, I do go to the casino, but they won't invest in stock. Now, Kim, I want us to break down the difference between investing and gambling because they're both risk. You're taking risk on both of them. What do you see the differences in those and similarities?
Okay. I think a lot about this, Ella.
Mhm.
Gambling. I think gambling, the source of gambling is everybody is looking for a rapid
Yeah.
sensation to wealth, right? They want to get there like quickly, right? And they think that one day they're going to put enough money in that machine and see, they go back to that rich thing we talked about, right? Rich versus wealthy, right? They want instant gratification. They want thousands of dollars to do it. They're probably going to just come back down to
Spend it.
and do the same thing, because if they can hit 20,000, they're going to try to do that 20,000 again in that machine, right? But the casino owners know that they got you because they paid you that first 20. And it's just like it's just like that endorphin in your brain. It's just like a drug addict, right? You're always trying to get back to that feeling where you hit that $20,000 in that machine. And that's what keep them going back, right? So I think the reason why people would gamble and go buy those lottery tickets like it's crazy, because they want instant gratification. They're not willing to do the small things over time, right? So one of the things that you're going to learn when you start reading books like Susie Orman and my friend Ramit Sethi, right? He wrote this book, I Will Teach You How to Be Rich. You got to buy this. Everybody should buy this book.
Everybody should buy this book.
He also has a great podcast that you can listen to about how to go from zero to filthy rich. And he helps couples become wealthy, right? How to build a wealthy portfolio, right? So, they don't want to do the small things. Like, so I don't know. It depends on what you think about stock, right? So I had to learn how to do stocks the smart way, right?
Okay.
The things that you'll learn in 9 Steps of Financial Freedom is what it means to do dollar cost averaging, right? Those people that have been doing 401ks for a very long time, you already know what dollar cost averaging is. That's exactly what you're doing every paycheck. Every paycheck, your company is taking money out of your check and they're putting it into your 401k. You're not supposed to touch it till you're 59 and a half, right? So you could do that also on the personal side. So you get a check every month, right? You can decide that every month I'm going to take a number. Let's just say $100, right?
Okay.
I'm going to take $100 and I'm going to put it into a micro stock investment. They got these where you don't have to buy the full value of the stock. You can do micro shares, right? I'm going to put this into this micro share and I'm going to do that every 2 weeks, right? That's $200 a month, or if you're going to throw that in there. And over time, it compounds, right? Compounding is the root to wealth. You put the same amount in like clockwork. And if you're really smart and you want to keep yourself from spending the money, you go in and set up an automatic transfer. Automatically, before you can even touch it, it hits your account, it goes directly to the brokerage, it gets invested in the stock that you've chosen, and it compounds over time. So the way that dollar cost averaging works, let's just use a stock, right? Let's just an example, right? Let's just say you buy an AI stock. I like to buy ETF, so I'm going to use QQQ. Let's just say, for instance, QQQ was $20, right? The day that you put that first $100 in there, you get 5 shares. Then QQQ is getting popular. It's getting up to like $50 a share now, right?
Mm-hmm.
The next 2 weeks, it's $50 a share. You put that same $100 in there, right? Now you only got 2, but you got a total of 7, right? And then over time, you're going to be catching that QQQ fluctuating in the market. It's going to be up some days, down some days, but your $100 is always being applied. And then over a year or many years, let's just say 20 years, right? I ran the calculation before we had this call. If you use that example, that $100 over 20 years will be worth $2.4 million. You spend more than that at the casino, right? If you consistently do that over time,
that is amazing.
It compounds greatly, right? It just takes some consistent.
Okay. I love it. I'm getting excited. Okay, Kim, people watching say, okay, I've never invested in stock. Where do I start? What is the first place? Let's say I got $20. I got $20. I want to do a $20 challenge here on the Ella Johnson Show. Anybody that's watching this broadcast, I want you guys to take your $20, and then Kim is going to show you and talk to us about what to do with it. If I got 20 right now for my paycheck on Friday, what should I do with it, Kim?
Ella, if I'm going to be responsible, I'm going to say I wouldn't advise you to invest it until you've done your homework. You need to understand what you're doing, right? So invest the time, right? So take 20 days and read this book. This is where I want you to start. I want you to take 20 days, read this book, page for page. Listen, and for the people that are out there and you don't like to read, download Audible. Right?
Download Audible.
Audible will read the book to you. So when you get in your car every day, you're going to turn on your Audible app and you're going to listen to a chapter. From home to work, you can probably get through a chapter, right? 20 days after you read this book. And if you still don't know how to invest, call me. I'll teach you what to do. I'll tell you where to open your account. But when you finish this book, you already have it done because it's a lesson. It teaches you what to do, who to call, and how to set it up, and how to set that automatic deposit into your account. I didn't come up with this. I can't take credit for that. Somebody taught me this. Susie taught me that, right? And then go on her podcast, right? Like I told you, right? So that would be the advice that I would give. Don't listen to Kim Abney. I'm not an expert. I want you to go and find the experts and do what they tell you to do. Because that's a good point too, because you're like, I don't want to just tell people what to do. I want them to get it in their spirit because it has to change your mind. Your mindset has to change. That's right.
Otherwise, we won't be consistent in it. So I like that idea of just being consistent. Good night, guys. Very informative stuff. This is one of my friends here, Eric. He said, Kim, do you use any AI tools or apps that help with buying and selling stock? If yes, which one or one?
Absolutely, I do. Right. I use ChatGPT for everything. Right. It is the best large language model out there. Before I came to this class, I ran a whole bunch of scenarios, and you basically just talk to ChatGPT like you're talking to a human. Just some scenarios, right? Just put it in there, type it, and hit enter. Boom, it answers your question, right? So yes, I use a lot of them. I also use ChatGPT to give me stock tickers or stock advice every day. I go in, for instance, the shares that I buy often or I dollar cost average into. I went into ChatGPT and I says, I own this stock, right? I want to know all the news on a daily basis, what's happening in this stock. And I want you to tell me what the market is doing. Should I buy more? Should I draw back? Or should I hold? And every morning when I wake up, ChatGPT gives me the information and the actions I should take for every stock that I own.
Really? ChatGPT? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and as a new investor, right, you can go on Chat GPT and tell it, right, I'm a new investor. What do I need to know about stock investing? And it would give you advice.
Oh,
And
I'm
it,
fixing to go. I'm gonna be talking to Chat GPT. They're gonna be like, look, Ella, go to
oh,
bed.
I don't. Everything
Go to bed.
everything that I do, I always
Yeah.
verify with Chat GPT. It's one of the. It's my favorite, right? There's several out there. You can use Grok. You can use several. Microsoft have their own. Everybody has a flavor of AI tools, but I like Chat GPT.
So when it comes to stock, you watch the market every day to see what your stock. I mean, do you? I mean, obviously you go to Chat GPT, but is there a way that you know how to buy, when to buy, what to buy, when to sell, when to fold? I know you're gonna throw the book back up, right?
No, I'm not gonna throw the book back up.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna throw this up, right? Right.
Uh-oh.
So
Okay.
we look. All of us out there probably got the best phones in the market. And I know I see all these high schools and their parents have bought them the latest phone, right? This thing is powerful. You know what I do?
Okay.
You
What's
slide
that?
over like this on your iPhone. See that right there?
Yeah.
I click on that stock thing right there. It allows you to go in there and put every stock that you care about. You can list it in there, and it gives you real-time stock information. And you can even make it alert you, right? It's a feature on your iPhone.
Which app is that you have?
This
What is
is
that?
This is Yahoo Stock. It's an app directly. It's directly on your Apple phone. Everybody has it, right? It comes for free,
Well,
and
I don't
it
have
gives
Apple,
you.
but thank you.
Oh, you don't have an iPhone. Well, it's
Don't
one of
even
the
do it.
values for us iPhone users, right? I don't have to do anything but put my stocks in there, and it gives me real time information.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we need to learn to use. We need to learn to use our tools. These things are powerful, and I'm gonna harp on this, Ella.
Come on.
Because we got to be real if we're going to be changing and trying to do better, right?
Right.
I I see so many folks, right? They're in their phone. Like, I want to ask them, like, what are you doing? Like, they're spending hours on social media. They're spending hours, right? And I'm like, how is that making you wealthy? Like, what are you using on there that teach you anything about wealth building, right? Or is it making you a better person? Is it making you more financially responsible? Is it giving you more education about your job? Is getting you to another place, right, where you can advance in your job? I think we waste so much time here, right? And this thing is so powerful, right? That whole Chat GPT thing I told you about, it's an app. It's on my phone. I type in, that's what I'm doing when I'm on here. I'm typing stuff and getting scenarios. It even tells me where properties are for sale. If I say I got $90,000 and I want to pay cash for a property in this city, what can it'll pull up all the addresses for every house in that area for $90,000. And the realtor and contact, everything, it pops up on my phone. And if there are none available, I can say, alert me when one
When
becomes
there
available.
is available.
And
Yeah,
it will
yeah.
tell me, boom, in the morning I wake up, this property is for sale. I'm like, wow. You know, we have everything we need to get to that level of wealth, right? It's right in our hands. We just got to use it for that purpose.
So we've learned tonight that Kim is saying to us that it is important for us to understand about why you should invest. We have to change our mindset. Again, that's what advice I'm looking for you to give to our viewers tonight. How do people go to it? Because a lot of people think, well, I don't have any money to invest. I have bad credit, so I can't do that. They're already thinking that this isn't for them because they don't have the tools necessary. Well, I need to have good credit for me to get started investing. In looking at properties. What do I look like? I don't know anybody. I don't have any collateral that I can use to even have people look at me. What is it going to take? What did you use, Kim, that made you make banks look at you and say, okay, wait a minute. I think I can listen to this guy. He kind of knows what he's talking about. What is it? You had good credit. Like what did you present that gave you this leg up?
I'm going to give you the Susie Orman answer. This was on her show on Tuesday.
Okay.
Somebody called in and said just that, right?
Are you
Susie,
serious?
you have all these rich folks coming on here talking about how they did it, right? I'm a school teacher. I have 3 kids, blah, 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 right?
Right,
And
right,
I don't have the extra money to set aside, right?
right.
So Susie says, There's only two things she can recommend for you, right? You need to reappropriate your funds, which means you need to take a look at every single penny that comes in, right? What are you spending, right? Is it necessity or is it pleasurable, right? If it's on the pleasure side of the house, you found your bucket of money that you can invest, right? It's not a necessity, right? So that's one place you can look, right? Another thing is you either need to reappropriate or you need to earn more, right? So people think that, oh, earning more, or she telling me to get another job. Well, in today's time, they have jobs that you can do from your home, right? They have things in your neighborhood that you can do, right? This young man down the street started a really neat service. It's a dog walking service. He's 16 years old. All he does is go over. I have a little contract here. I can walk your dog every day, and I can charge you $100 a month, and I'll come every morning and walk your dog before I go to school.
Oh, I would definitely get that in a minute if I had a dog.
Every neighbor is signing up for it.
I would really?
Every neighbor is signing up for it, and he is making a killing, right? I got this lady. I signed up for this service because I'm sorry, right? We got two big dogs, and they go out there and drop big bombs in the backyard. But we like our backyard. We want to go out there and enjoy it. So this lady started a service. She would come every week for $70 and pick up our poop every week. You think I don't pay her? So I'm just giving you some examples, right? We're quick to say, I don't have any money, but we're also not using this to think outside the box about how can I earn more, right? How can I use what I have to earn more, right? So, there's only two ways, right? You got to just, do a budget, see where your money is going. If you can reappropriate some funds to invest, do that. If you can't, earn some more money.
Earn some more money. Find a way is the thing.
And, if you go to a financial advisor or somebody else, and I'm not a financial advisor, guys. I'm just having a conversation. I'm on the Ella Johnson Show, just giving some life experiences, right? So don't go do what I'm telling you to do. I'm not liable for whatever risk that you may take with this, right? But I'm just having a dialogue, right? Look at what you're spending your money on. Do you need that $1,000 a month car payment? Yeah. I know your friends drive a Mercedes or a BMW or what have you, but if you don't have money to invest, maybe you should reconsider, were you spending the money that you already make? So it's easy to say, I don't have the money, right? But some of us are making all the money we need. We're just choosing not to manage it, responsibly. Yeah.
And you know what? That just felt like a whipping right then. That just felt like a whipping.
Well,
right across the
I was that irresponsible dude. I told you, right? I come out of college making really good money, but I couldn't buy a car for myself. I could afford the payments, but no bank wanted to finance it because I had been reckless in college. So I've been that guy.
But that's what I love about your story, Kim, is because you've been there and you're like, listen, I know what you guys are doing because I did it. You're making excuses. You either
for pity. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm broke, but you just pulled up in a Mercedes.
I know, right?
Look, I just pulled up in a Mercedes. I need to borrow $500. What?
Right?
Oh
my God, that's funny.
Hold on a minute. I can't get you out of my front door fast enough. Man.
No, but why is our focus on looking like we got something then instead of actually having it, right?
Yes. That's a good question. Yeah. When you figure that out, Ella, you'll be a billionaire. Why do we want to fake the funk, right?
Hood
you know
rich.
What I'm saying?
Yeah.
We are the best looking people in the world. You hear me? Hair done, nails done, you name it. It's fly. Oh, and don't get me on the purses. Look, Cheryl Daddy always say, no women got them $500 and $600 purses. They ain't got $100 in it. And I just die laughing. I'm like, you are telling the truth. Some of them got $1,000 purses. And they got $100 in the purse.
Now I want y'all to think about that. Kim, this is hilarious, but Kim is so right.
Oh, yeah.
That's something you will never see me with. All the person I'm a man, I'll take that person, go feed a village in Africa before I'll go spend money on a purse like that.
Yeah. And
Right?
you'll hear them say, I don't have the money to invest. I don't have any money to invest. What? Ain't that first $1,000?
There it is right there.
You can
So
probably go
Kim,
out. Yeah.
like you take somebody like Bill Gates. Okay, this is just one wealthy person. Look how he dresses. He doesn't care about the luxury clothes
He
and
ain't
the
trying
luxury
to
cars they.
impress. He ain't trying to impress
Yeah.
none of us, right? Most wealthy people could care less what you think about them. They are too busy on building their portfolio. They're building a portfolio of assets. If there's
Yeah.
anything anybody these people can take away from this session tonight, you should be building assets. If it's putting money in your pocket, you're spending it in the right place. If it's taking money out of your pocket, you are never, ever going to be wealthy. Never.
Wow, that's deep. Let's talk about buying a home. For those people that are interested in buying a home, is this a good time? What do you think? Is this a good time to even think about trying to buy a home if you've never bought one?
Yeah, it's always a good time to buy a home, Ella, right? So
Yeah.
uh, I know a lot of people. We went through the whole COVID era, and
Yeah.
interest rates went down to 2% and 3%.
Yeah.
That was a fluke, you know. That was
1000%.
that was under market, and we will never ever get back there. So if you're sitting around and waiting for interest
Wait.
rates to drop to get to 2% and 3%, you're never going to buy a property, right? Um, for our young people out there, if I could share one thing with you, is to buy an investment property before you buy a property that you plan to live in. Let me say that again. Buy an investment property before you buy a house to live in, right? Continue to live wherever you're living, right? You can even rent an apartment, right? But buy that investment property. And the reason why you're going to do that is because you have a revenue generating asset under a new LLC, which is a company, right? That's what I teach my uh, mentees to do, right? Every property goes under a different LLC. And you do that to protect the asset and also to protect you. What that does is it builds business acumen. So when you go to the bank to apply for your personal loan, you have multiple streams of income. And one of the routes to wealthy, to being wealthy, is you need those multiple streams. So every LLC, every asset you put in that LLC is another income stream, right? Um, a great recommendation that a friend made is to buy a duplex. Why do you
Okay.
buy a duplex?
Right.
You buy a duplex, you can live in apartment A and you can have a renter in apartment B. And the rent that apartment B pays the entire mortgage. And guess what, Ella? You stay there for free.
Mm,
So if you are
that
young,
is
coming
interesting.
to
That's
college,
good.
I
Hmm.
recommend you go buy a duplex, right? Because listen at this. You can buy that duplex, stay in A, get a renter in B, pay the whole mortgage. B is paying the whole mortgage. And if you single right out of college, you probably got a 2 bedroom apartment in A, right? Not only can you rent B, but you can rent the other bedroom in A. That's called, yeah. Connie is one of my mentees. She got it.
Well,
Thanks, Connie.
girl,
You're
you just made your
absolutely
A for
right.
the night. You just made your A for the night. House
Yeah.
hacking.
So I'm working
Okay.
with Connie and her fiance and her son. Yeah. So yeah, and they're doing it. So I'm proud of you, Connie. Yeah, Connie is right. That is called house hacking, right? So even if you decide to buy your own personal home, right? You can rent bedrooms in your house if you're a single person right out of college, or you can rent your basement out. Whatever you buy, you want to turn it into a revenue generating asset. That's the route to wealth.
Wow. I could sit here and listen to you all night, guys. I hope you guys are getting something out of this broadcast. I knew that Kim would just knock it out of the park because he is a wealth of knowledge. So, Kim, I want to ask you guys, those of you that are watching, is this something that you guys would like to see more and more often on the Ella Johnson Show? Because I really would like for Kim to be a permanent fixture here to educate us. Because I think that there's certain things that we, as podcasters and broadcasters, that we should be responsible, and it is giving information to our people that's going to help them. Because I am not a ratchet host. That's not what I do. I'm not trying to get on here and talk about the Real Housewives and all that. I don't care about none of that. I care about making sure that we are getting what we need. And Kim, you have done just that tonight. So I know you're going to come back. See how I just assumed the sale? Isn't that part of something that you've taught somewhere? I assumed the sale. I know he's going to come back. Because listen,
Well, listen,
y'all
Ella,
don't
your mama come back and haunt me if I don't help you, right?
Ooh,
So I can't tell
yeah.
you no. You family.
Y'all, Kim and I were talking about this before the broadcast, and he was talking about how my mama used to come and pinch all our ears in church, and because we had a problem, right, Kim? We used to love to talk in church,
And
right?
laugh.
And laugh and chew gum and write notes and
Oh,
make plans for the skating rink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
we gonna get our juke on.
Oh, what? You
One way or
already know.
another.
So Kim, I have to bring you back because we gotta do this again. Because I mean, we didn't cover, there's a lot of stuff to cover. I really want to challenge you guys to go and get this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm gonna bring it on the screen here again.
Yes.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I know you can get it on Amazon because I saw it.
Yes.
Now, after the show, Kim, I think what I'm gonna do is find all of these books and put the link in the show so that you guys can get it. And I really want to hear how it's helping you.
Yeah.
Now,
Ella,
if you have,
I have another question too.
What's that?
For your listeners, right? If I put together a course on teaching you how to get into real estate investing, everything you need to know from soup to nuts, right? Is that a topic that, your listeners are interested in?
Everybody say yes. Oh, there's a yes right there. Yes. Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. We should do that. We should put together a course and maybe have a series of these very short, 30 minutes, where we just give people, get them moving in the right direction. And then I have a wealth of knowledge, with friends and, that does this already and do it for a profession. Maybe we can bring them on as guests and get people moving in the right direction.
I love it. And we'll talk about the details, but I think that this is the area we need to go. And I was telling Kim what made me want to reach out to him, because I know Kim would have come here at any time. We're just that good of friends. But when we had this crisis about the government shutdown and how people were talking about how they don't know where their next meal is coming from because they're not getting their food stamps. And I know that's a touchy subject because there are people that are probably on that. But that is what led me to do this, because I want us, and when I say us, I'm talking about all of us, to not be dependent on this government or a government or any kind of system, because then once we're dependent on it, we stay there, right, Kim? Yeah, so that was one thing. And I was just like, I don't like that. I don't like that I'm seeing so many people, first of all, that there's so many people on food stamps, and second of all, that we have so many people so dependent and feel like there's no other way to go. That was kind of weird, because sometimes people have to be on it, to get to the next level. I get that. But it was just starting to sound a little crazy to me when it was just coming like it was coming. So that's what encouraged me for this.
My thing is, what are we going to do to get into these communities where people are dependent on government assistance, right? Yeah. What is the catalyst behind that dependency, right? How do we teach those people how to escape that bondage and to get into a place where they can be self-sufficient, right? A lot of people don't believe that they can do it, right? And we like to put a lot of things on the church, and it's not right that we put it on the church. But I just think back when the church was the government, right? The church was the government in the community, and that's why the 10%
it really was
there, right? Yeah. People paid the 10% to the government. That was the original tax, right? And then the church service the community, right? Well, the church now is still getting the 10%, but what are they doing in the community, right? Is that money going into the pastor's pocket, or is it
Mm,
going to do the ministry in the community, right? That's why, if you think about it, if you take those religious courses, I took one in college. That's why churches were set up the way that they were, right? Every community had its own church, black
right.
one, white one because of the segregation, right? But, you know, if the church is not going to fulfill it, I'm a member of the best fraternity in the world. We got to start having conversations in our fraternities around how do we break this dependency on government dependency, right? How do we build financial freedom in these communities? What does it mean? Like basic survival, right? It's very important that we do more than just talk about this, right? Yeah, that
Yeah.
whole SALT program and everything, that's very sad, right? But let's get people, off of this government dependency. We need to fix that.
And that's what this show is all about, guys. He said it's not all churches. Some churches are helping, and that's good. But I remember when the church did more in the community. I totally concur with you on that, Kim. But I think that it starts with us. It starts with the man in the mirror. That's why that's one of my favorite songs. Michael Jackson's my favorite artist, and I love that song. And it's not just a song that we should sing because we like the way it sounds, but we should take those words to heart because it really does start with that person that's looking back at you. And we really have to be responsible and disciplined. And I love you, Kim. You are my friend for life. I'm so proud of you. When I started doing the heroes from DaVille, you were actually the first one I thought about because you definitely exemplify what that is all about. Step two, I mean, because you guys, you're doing the thing, you learn from it. You are in. I mean, Monroeville is who you are. You love it, just like me.
Oh
Like
yeah.
we love going home,
We're
and
always
you
looking at
took
what we can do back in Monroe, right? What can
always
we
looking
take
what we
to
get to.
Monroe? Yeah.
Yes, always. And I like that story that you gave. For those of you that are just tuning in, you got to tune in and watch this entire broadcast because at the beginning, Kim talked about where that began, that seed that was planted. And he was actually on his way to put flowers in his mother's grave. And that's when they kind of came across this community and your heart. You couldn't have done it if your heart wasn't in it, though, Kim. You know what I'm saying? You saw it and you was just like, oh, now that's a mess. Now, did we ever walk through there when we were kids? Because we walked all over Monroeville. I
Now,
don't know if
Ella,
we ever.
here's something that I didn't share with you. When I told you that right out of college, I got a job at Vanity Fair.
Yeah, right.
My credit was so bad, I didn't even qualify to move in there. I applied.
You better stop. You
At the
better stop.
time, it was owned by an older white gentleman, and there were several of my programming friends that were living there, but I was denied.
Are
And
you
now I own
serious,
it.
Kim? I just saw the video. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, as soon as you said that, I saw the video. I really did. We have to go to Monroeville and we have to walk that ground and do a video because when you said that, I literally saw you walking by that community. I could see a whole infomercial. Right? I shot it in my head just then when you said that. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't get in and now he owns it. Man, that's an ad. What you talking about?
Things
That
happen
is an
for
ad.
things happen for a reason, Ella. I wasn't supposed to be there because I probably would have still been stuck in Monroe. So it was probably a reason why I didn't get in that place. So I thank the Lord for
It was all God. God was
for,
in.
for
God was definitely in
the
the
whole journey.
details.
The whole journey,
Yeah.
right? Everything happens for a reason.
So I was going to ask you, what do you credit the success to? I already know that it's God, but talk to me about some of Ola Mae's teachings because your mama was the truth. I love myself some Ola Mae. One thing I liked about your mama, she was so raw.
Oh yeah.
She Kim?
Oh yeah.
We would just be like, oh, I can't believe she said that. And Kim and Net too. I know his whole family, guys. Like I've spent so much time at Kim's house, and your mom is just. I mean, all our mamas know each other,
Yeah.
right?
I think
That's that country
thing,
living.
one oh man, if you get me talking about my mom, I'll be on here all night, right? But one of the things that I am so proud of, and she instilled this in all of us, right? You had to own your own house, right? She just was like, you keep your credit good, you pay people when you say you're gonna pay them, and then I don't want you out there living in somebody else's house. You must own your own house. And thank God, I think all of my siblings and most of her grandchildren, they own their own house. Right. That's just what
Wow.
she drilled it in you. Right. So she was teaching financial responsibility. She was giving it to us what she had. Right.
That's right.
And it's up to us to develop it and go further. And I do that
That's
in her.
right. That's right.
And every
Well,
time
I
I
know
pass my
that.
oldest garden, I'm like, okay, mom, this one is yours.
Oh, every time I see
So
it, I
you,
think about her too. I can see her just smiling. She out there sitting in one of those little rocking chairs. I'm telling you,
yeah.
she's
But
sitting out. She would
that's
be
why I
so
have to
proud of you.
keep those flowers up too. My mom loved her flowers.
She did.
She
She
stayed
did.
in
She
that
did.
yard with them flowers. So I got to
And
go
the
down there
name
and
was so
I'm a little
fitting,
bit
Kim.
more.
I am so proud of you. I really am. And I think that we should say that to our friends more, you know. I'm proud of you. Thank you so much for being a guest on my show. I always knew that we would do this, and we're going to keep doing it, guys. So I'm just letting you guys know Kim and I are going to be talking about the details, but we're going to bring more to you because that's what I want this show to be about, a show that gives and keeps on giving. Because I want millionaires watching me. Because then if I got millionaires watching me, I got millionaires sponsoring me, right? And
I got a better
investing in my
vision for
show.
you. I
What's
want
that?
I want you to be the millionaire. So we got to
Hey,
figure out
well,
how to get you to that point.
okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
I'm with that.
you should be benefiting from this too. I see a bigger vision for Ella Johnson show, and you're
Okay.
going to be there.
Okay. And we're going to talk about it.
Oh, absolutely.
Listen, it's good to have friends like this. All right, Kim, is there anything that you want to share before we get out of here? Because we're gonna rebroadcast this tomorrow for the people that missed.
Well,
It will show tomorrow.
I just want to say thanks. Thank you for coming to the Ella Johnson show. Ella, thank you for giving me a platform. I pray that I have given somebody something to think on and
Amen.
have led someone into a direction that is going to change their life. So that's what I would say.
All right, guys. If anybody has any questions, give them to me now. Otherwise, we're gonna get out of here. Mel and Susie said this was good. Mel and Susie, I'm so glad they
Thank you,
sent you a
Mel.
message.
I
Kim,
remember when Mel was a little baby. Her mom
not a
married.
baby.
Oh man, Marion Jr.'s baby. Yes, I do. And she used to be with Stanker all the time. Oh, I still call her Stanker. Cheryl McMillan. Maybe I should call her
Oh,
Cheryl
I saw
McMillan.
Stanker. I know that we still call.
Well, don't you
We
remember
never call
Mel and
people by
they
their
were like
name.
twins? I remember.
Yeah.
Mel, thank you for all of your kind comments. I'm so proud of what you're doing too. I want to come down to that beach house. I'm always in Destin. I'm gonna call you when I'm there.
Kim, I want you to see some of the comments because I think, because I know you were talking, but I want Stephanie said God used him to invest in you. He saw greater in you. You were talking about Chuck Kidd is on here. Chuck Kidd. Very intelligent dude, he says you are.
Oh,
Aw. You are, though. You always were. Kim always was the one in the group that we'd be like, shut up. Yeah. Because he knew everything. He was the smart one. But you have a lot of people that were here, and so you can see the comments when you go back through the show. And Stephanie says this is very good info. Very proud of what you have accomplished. See, a lot of people are very proud of you, Kim. I mean, I know it was a little rocky at first, when you got started, but look at where you are now.
yeah.
Look at where you are now. You're in a position now to really help others, and that is truly and always is a blessing.
Oh, that's my Ben. What's up, Ben?
Ben is ready to spend some money.
Yeah, man.
Okay, Ben.
Ben lives in Connecticut and he's dialed into this show. Cuz thank you so much.
Wow.
Appreciate you.
That is awesome, Ben.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
well, thank you so much, Ben. And Stephanie says, keep letting God use you.
Absolutely.
Monica
Hey, Mo.
says this. We got Mo.
That's my
He's so
sis.
pretty. I know,
Absolutely.
right? I love it. I love it. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you all so much for tuning into the Ella Johnson Show tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. Kim, I've enjoyed you. We're going to bring you back. You and I have a lot to talk about.
Okay.
But I want to thank you guys. I may be back Saturday here on the Ella Johnson Show. Matter of fact, I am going to be back here Saturday on the Ella Johnson Show. We're going to talk about mental health. I brought one show, but it keeps coming. When people come to me with situations, I want to share it. One of the things that helped me want to have that broadcast is because of the football player that supposedly shot himself after he had his biggest day in football. And we got to talk about this stuff, family, because this is really happening in our community and all over. And we really need to talk about it. I'm going to bring some experts on this time. They inbox you. Hey, Ma. Hey, Jonathan.
Hey, Jonathan.
So, yes. All right, guys. Well, we're going to get out of here. I love you all so much. And thank you. Thank you again for tuning in to the Ella Johnson Show. We'll see you next time. Have a great evening, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Ella Johnson Show. We'll see you next time.
We are supporters of the Ella Johnson Show. We live in South Korea. We have been watching Ella Johnson Show for like a year now. And we love her show. Her show is very inspirational, motivational, and educational.
If you would like to be a guest on the Ella Johnson Show, send an email to theellajohnsonshow@gmail.com or send a text message to 407-334-6997.
We love Ella Johnson Show.